Stealth taxes, Gordon Brown's great weapon, of course, and we're talking about things like inheritance tax, pensions, lifetime allowance, triple lock. They sort of slide by in the small print of these statements, don't they?
That's right. You referred to the triple lock. That's the manifesto commitment from the Tories that the basic state pension will go up either by 2.5%, the increase in average earnings over the last year, or the increase in the consumer price.
And it's suspended at the moment, of course, for this year, particularly year.
Yeah. I think the Tories will implement the triple lock. I think a lot of the will he, won't he thing is to make sure there's a lot of attention on it. So when they do implement the triple lock, which is a manifesto commitment, they wring as much benefit out of it as they possibly can for sort of presentational purposes. What we're hearing now, though, is that to pay for that massive increase in 10.1% increase in the basic state pension, you know, forever, they're going to have to raise taxes elsewhere. But, of course, politicians don't like raising headline tax rates because that's really easy for busy people to understand. Oh, my God, and you can see it easily from your wage slip that you're being taxed at a certain percentage. Of course, the base rate of income tax is 20%. If they put that up, there'll be lots and lots of gnashing of teeth. So what politicians often do, and Gordon Brown did it and Rishi Sunak is doing it as well, is they implement something called fiscal drag. And that means you freeze the threshold where you start paying tax where it is. So as wages go up, as inflation goes up over the years, you get dragged into a higher tax bracket. And we're seeing more and more people dragged into the top rate of tax, which is roughly about 50 grand. You know, relatively, not.
This is the 40% band.
Not particularly well paid people. You know, £50,000 obviously is big compared to the average wage, which is about £30,000. But for an awful lot of people, £50,000, it doesn't make you spectacularly well off at all, particularly in today's climate. And more of those people will be paying tax at 40% because those thresholds, Sunak froze them in 2021 until 2026 when he was Chancellor. He's now going to, let me finish, he's now going to freeze them until 2028. The new bit of information we have is that as well as freezing those income tax thresholds, they might now also freeze the inheritance tax threshold.
Yeah. And also the lifetime allowance on pensions, which was obviously, as Ros Altman said, a real hit on pensioners because it's not just the state pension, it's their own money they put by.
Yeah. But actually, you know, the lifetime allowance on pensions is about £1 million. If you've got a pension pot of £1 million, you know, you're going to be fine.
Although, let's reflect, you may be only getting 40 grand back per year on that.
But for the vast majority of people, a £40,000, guaranteed income for life is, completely otherworldly. I just want to focus on the inheritance tax threshold, Mark, if I may, because the inheritance, I'm not qualified to give financial advice. We're an Ofcom channel. No, I have to say that. I have to say that. Yeah. It's very serious stuff.
The FCA rules.
I hear a lot of journalists giving financial advice, and they're breaking the rules. So I'm not qualified to give financial advice. Let me say that. I've said it twice. But I'm reporting that the inheritance tax threshold is £325,000. So if you're a married couple, it's £700,000. So if you're bequeathing a house to your kids or an estate which is worth more than £700,000, you're going to pay 40% on the bit that's above the threshold. Now, the thing is, Mark, this inheritance tax threshold, Sunak has already frozen it till 2026. He's now, we think, going to freeze it till 2028. But the absolutely astonishing point, and I didn't realise this until I just looked it up, is that inheritance tax threshold has been at £325,000 since 2009. Right? It's been there for 13 years, and it's going to end up being there for almost 20 years.
But you've also got within that your main residence as part of that. But given what's happened in that time period to house prices, you're up through the roof, literally.
Right. I mean, if you are a single person and you're bequeathing a home to your kids, right? A £325,000 home, right?
It's a one-bedroom flat in some places.
It is not an extravagant home. It is a normal home. It's a home that's lower than the average property price in the UK, which includes, flats, includes single-bedroom flats, bed-sits and everything. And I think this process has to have a limit. Inheritance tax for ordinary people bequeathing a small, modest home to their children, a home they've paid for all their lives through a mortgage, servicing that mortgage itself out of post-tax income, right? A lot of Conservative voters,
indeed,
and a lot of Labour voters are not going to like this.
And a lot of Conservative politicians may not like it either. So we shall see on the 17th.